You are not alone in this. Music producers and beat makers, it's very important that you know this. It's your guy Brahma, and in this video we're going to talk about the problems that we run into as music producers and how it's more common than you think. Okay, so stay tuned, make sure you watch it all the way through, because I know I'm going to strike a chord with you with some of the things that I bring up and how to bypass them or get over them. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you're feeling the vibe to help us build this tribe, because that's what it's all about. Let's get into it. So you've heard me bring up this concept in previous videos if you've been watching thus far. The lone wolf syndrome that a lot of us music producers have, right? We make our beats by ourselves. We play them for very few people, if anyone. These beats sit alone on the hard drive and just collect digital dust. We keep making beat after beat. Sometimes we don't even go back to the other ones because we developed a newer sound and we look at those as just trash now because you've grown past that sound, right? And the problem with that, you are so close to your art that you can't become objective to it. So you remain subjective. And that's where the problems start. That's when you start lacking confidence in your creativity. That's when your creativity goes down the drain because you run into the same patterns, you're doing the same things over and over. You're not growing as a music producer. You start to run into mental blocks. And this is what causes the beat block. This is what closes your creative channel, and you start to feel like you're alone in this. Like, oh man, no one understands me. These beats that I'm making, no one's gonna like. Artists aren't gonna buy my beats. I can't get placements with these. They're not good enough. I'm not good enough. All these things you run into, and it's because you've closed yourself off to the rest of the world. You forgot that making music should be fun. It should be just like when you were a kid playing at recess. That's why they call it recess recreation, right? Or being constructive. That's what music production is. Recreation, recreation. Creation is part of that word. So what you're doing when you're making music, you have to remember that you're creating something and it's original. That's why comparison, it should be thrown out, because once you start comparing yourself to someone else, you stop being original. You can always compare and contrast in a sense of like, oh, I like how they did that, that's different, and implement that into yours. But if you're putting yourself up against them, like who's better, or they're better than me because of this, and you're already losing, and you've already lost the concept of producing music. Producing music should be fun. Sometimes when we turn it into a business or we start making money off of it or we get serious about it, that's when it starts to dampen. It starts to kill the creative forces because now you're taking it too serious. You're not playing anymore. When you're making music and that's why it's called playing the piano or playing an instrument. It's play. You should be playing. But if you're forcing it, or if you're trying to go into it from a different vibe, like real technical, then you're going to definitely kill the vibe of your creativity, and you don't want to do that. That's where community comes in, because once you surround yourself with a great circle of music producers who are going in the same direction as you are, you could challenge one another, and not from a space of competition, but from a space of like, yo, oh man, I love how you did that. You're starting to pick up things. I remember at the last studio I was at, one of my mentors, my big homies, he said, yo, when you surround yourself with other great musicians, that's how you get better. And that stuck with me. Shout outs to the homie iRock. He said that, and I was like, yo, man, that's real talk. Once you start surrounding yourself with other great musicians, you're gonna sharpen your skill. Iron sharpens iron. And that's literally what we have. Iron in our blood, by the way. So we're partially iron, man. We're no different as human beings. We are composed of all the elements around us. But that's not to go that deep. I'm just trying to tell you that this creative energy that we're carrying, when we can expose it to other creative energy that's around us and combine it, we can create a whole new sound that didn't exist before. That's why Dre surrounded himself with great musicians. When he was doing the Chronic 2001 album, he surrounded himself with Scott Storch, Mailman, Mike Elizondo, Those musicians help him create that sound that we hear on the Chronic 2001. We credit it to just him because he's the mastermind behind it. And he made sure that them drums, he was knocking them drums down, but all the other musical elements in there are other musicians and other great producers who help inspire that sound and create that sound. That was magic. Same thing with D'Angelo, that Voodoo album. Oh my God. He had Questlove in there. And some of those drums were inspired by Jay Dilla. Man, it's crazy. And with D'Angelo on the keyboard, and man, that sound was magnetic. It was magnificent. So sometimes you have to put yourself in the position to challenge yourself or be around other great musicians, because they're going to pull something else out of you. Other great producers, when you know that they're part of your squad too, they're going to do something that you never done before, and it's going to change the way you even perceive music. That happened at my studio way back in 2003 with me, my guy Ion, Fatso, Mainframe. There was a couple of others, but the production was handled by me mainly, in Fatso as well. And I remember Fatso did a beat on his Motif keyboard, on our Motif keyboard that we had at the time. And I was like, yo, bro, it sounded something like super organic. It was on some high tech Jay Dilla, and all it was drums and the bass line. But the way he did it, the way that the time signature was, the way that the drums were dragging a little bit, and how the bass was just flowing on top of it, I'll never forget that, and that stayed with me. It changed the whole way that I did my drums. Same thing when I first heard Darkchild, when he did the Brandy Full Moon album. Oh my God, that album was incredible. But the song, what is that song? What About Us? When I heard how he was dragging them drums, that timing and that bass line, and it sounded like some Cali G-Funk, but R&B, oh my God. That made me change my whole drum structure. Between him, High Tech, my guy Fatso, that helped me understand the concept of no quantizing, given that natural rhythm. But I'm saying all this to say that without these other great producers I was surrounded by and influenced by and inspired by, I would never have been able to develop my sound the way that I have today. It was because of those musicians and surrounding myself around that greatness that helped me form my current sound. And I'm still growing now. Within my Ape Army community, I'm hearing the producers coming there with super heat. It's definitely giving me a whole nother angle in another portal to pull from. That's what it's really about. It's like an incubator, right? When you have a group of great producers, it's like a nest egg growing, right? Growing concepts and raw music and raw energy from the ground up, and everybody in there is benefiting off of it. I remember when I first moved to Cali back in 2010, and we had our studio room right next to Battle Cat. Man, we'd hear him banging out like, yo, bro, we gotta do something crazy, because we were right next door to a legend who was making legendary music in real time. And then I remember I was blown away by what we were doing, an interview of him, and he said, yo, I got these guys next to me and I hear them banging out, and I get inspired. Something, I'm paraphrasing, I don't remember his exact words. And he was like, and I go and I do my thing. But that inspired us, because we were like, damn, Battle Cat is inspired by us. That shows us, like, especially when you're a legend like that, if you're that you still have to learn no matter what. You still have to pull from other resources. You still have to be motivated and inspired by the people around you. That's what's important. That's why we built the Ape Army. The Ape Army is for music producers who are serious about their craft, and not serious, let me take that word out. Music producers who love the craft, because love is that energy that's fueling us to do this from that organic, fun play level. And it brings that creativity back. It turns you back into that kid that first discovered the creation of music. And when you remember that, when you first played on the keyboard, how it touched your heart and it made your soul just vibrate. It's a community of music producers resonating with one another and sharpening each other and being each other's shield, our armor. That's what the Ape Code is. The Ape Code is armor, power, evolution. Armor, the community, Your people, your circle, that's your armor, strength in numbers, right? Your power is your sound, your tools, your training. Your evolution is your mindset. It's based on that progression, right? Music should always progress. Your mindset should always progress so that your music could always progress. It's about elevating your mindset so that you are continuing to grow as a music producer. And you can only do that with the other first two principles, which is armor, your community, your power, your sound. When you have those things in place, it's setting you up to evolve and elevate as a music producer. If you are really wanting to fully grow as a music producer and continue to grow and progress and see your progress and benefit from the inspiration and motivation of other great music producers who are going in the same direction as you, who are going to help you sharpen your iron, and who are going to be your shield of armor, you definitely want to join the Ape Army. We're dropping new sounds every month. You get a new expansion for the drum tank plugin, which right when you join the Ape Army for $1, the only way to get into the Ape Army is getting the drum tank plugin for $1. That's how exclusive it is. There's no other way to get into the Ape Army. First, you have to arm yourself from the foundation, which is the drums. So we give you drum tank just for joining, and you get a 30-day free trial into the Ape Army by getting that. Because with that drum tank plugin, you've proven that you're in the process of updating your foundation and making sure, or should I say strengthening your foundation and making sure that your foundation is solid. And then after that, in the second month, we give you the Arsenal plugin, which is filled with crazy dope sounding synths so that you can make the melodies that you've always dreamed of. And then in the third month, there's a secret plugin that I haven't revealed yet. I'll probably reveal it pretty soon, but you're gonna get that as well. But every month you get a new expansion from the drum tank plugin because we wanna make sure that you're updating and upgrading your foundation so that you can continue to evolve. And these sounds have been processed. They've already been EQ'd. They're pre-mixed, they're pre-game stage so that you load them up and just make bangers from the jump. When you start with sounds that are already good, they're already got that golden edge to them, you're already putting yourself in position to make a banger. That's what we believe in the Ape Army. That's what we stand by. So make sure you go ahead and check it out. Join the squad. I'm leaving a link right here to where you can get that drum tank plugin for $1 and you get the 30-day trial into the Ape Army. You can cancel at any time. But if you're really, I don't want to use the word serious. If you're really a lover of the craft of music production, you definitely want to be a part of the Ape Army. This community is like no other producer community ever that has ever been created before or ever been seen, right? And there's more about it in this video. I'm going to link the video so you can check it out. Actually, I'll put it up here. I was going to put it in the description, but I'm putting it up here right now so you can check out the drum tank plugin. And when you go to the link in the description though, you're going to be able to go to the page where I tell you more about the Ape Army and I give you a sneak peek into it and show you what it's really all about, the ranking system, all of that, okay? As music producers, we need community and we need to surround ourselves with other great musicians who are making this thing fun again, making this thing great again, who are bringing the best out of us, challenging us and sharpening our iron, and we're sharpening their iron. That's what it's really all about. Check out this video though, where I show you the drum tank plugin and how you can get it for $1. And I'm gonna leave a link in the description too to where you can go right there and see that video as well, okay? They all lead to the same place though, which is the Ape Army, okay? I'll see you on the other side. Salute.